During the last Minecraft Live, a new mob was revealed, the Ghastling, and its adult form, the Happy Ghast. Apart from being absolutely adorable, this new Ghast also did something else, completely ruining a Ghast ecology script I'd been working on for ages now. Granted, I had abandoned it, but still, how dare you? The only reason I forgive you is because your existence is adding a lot of extra info to this classic Minecraft mob, which makes it possible for this video to be an actual video instead of a tiny short. Okay, and also because you're really cute to have some snacks. Anyway, before we can talk about the Ghastling, we need to talk about its evil twin, the regular Ghast. Understanding how they fit into this picture will hopefully allow us to speculate more on what the Ghastling really is. Ghasts are mobs native to the nether that resemble a giant head with tentacles dangling from the bottom. These tentacles serve no obvious purpose, as their flight seems to be powered by either light Ghasts in their body or by supernatural energies. And this isn't some cop-out, by the way. Ghasts are unapologetically supernatural. I'd venture to go so far they aren't even really animals. Yes, they are classified as monsters, but in many ways more so act like ghosts or the undead. In fact, they are the only non-undead mob ignored by the Wither. So clearly there's something magical going on with Ghasts. Before I can really talk about my theory regarding this magical puzzle piece, we have to address the Ghast's place of origin. Many of my fellow ecologists amongst you probably just scrolled down to the comments to mention the Uneasy Alliance achievement, which mentions rescuing Ghasts from the nether and bringing them safely home to the overworld. Now, while the wording here could be referring to the overworld as the player's home, and while you should still leave that comment because engagement makes me happy when I check my YouTube stats after lying in bed thinking too much about block game mobs, I think the text here is not entirely honest with us. You see, the nether is in many ways the equivalent of hell, a place of undeath and unnatural energies, and torturous heat. Evolution does happen here, animals and ecosystems do actually form, but the vibe of this place is just not natural. I say this because the theme of death and undeath is very present here, especially if you look at things like soul sand, which may actually have souls trapped inside it, souls that likely came from the overworld. This is where I think the Ghast's home is. I think it is a sort of reanimated spirit brought to life via some spark of happenstance. And we also have to acknowledge here the power of the soul in the world of Minecraft. We as regular players can literally enchant our items with energy gathered from souls in the form of experience. But hey, I hear you say, Ghasts aren't undead, they are actually alive. And you're not wrong. But I have some more speculative explanations for you to use as a bridge for my next segment in the script. The first few Ghasts may have been undead, but let's not forget that Ghasts possess incredible regenerative abilities. Their tears are used as ingredients for regeneration potions and to craft end crystals, which can bring an entire dragon back to life, as well as healing it continuously. I think this is the form that the soul energy that makes Ghasts up is in, a healing energy. Undead mobs are actually immune to the effects of regeneration, so for them to stay corporeal, they would have had to become proper animals, living beings that can evolve and adapt. Speaking of evolving and adapting, he said, attempting to transition into the second part of the video, let's now talk about how the newly revealed Ghastling fits into all of this. I have seen many people talk about the dried Ghast as a baby Ghast, dehydrated and unconscious in a kind of stasis, similar to how tardigrades can dry themselves out in the absence of water. But the nether never had water. It would have just been there forever, and we also don't know where the dried Ghasts come from. They have a crafting recipe, but I've yet to see any non-player in the nether work with a workbench, so I doubt they were simply strewn about for decorative purposes. Ghast reproduction is the topic we are kind of circling here. How would a soul procreate? Well, we haven't ever seen it in action, but I have some more speculation that could explain this. If I am right, and Ghasts are a kind of spirit turned animal, they would require spirit energy to form a new body. The Ghast here is the perfect tool for this, a condensed bead of spiritual energy that can simply be dropped into an area rich in souls, such as patches of soul sand, where it may generate a new Ghast body if the conditions are right. This means Ghasts might kind of clone themselves, with their tears being similar to spores, or the tear may just be a bit of energy, like the yolk of an egg, to allow a new soul to form into a Ghast. Notably, this theory completely ignores the dried Ghasts, and I have my reason for that. If you look at its crafting recipe, you'll see it contains only two things, bone blocks and Ghast tears. We already discussed how Ghast tear fits into the picture of Ghast reproduction, but bone blocks, those are what sparked me working on this whole theory. I saw so many people saying the dried Ghasts were always found next to the fossils in the nether due to those bones being of their Ghast parents. But this ignores the fact that Ghasts straight up don't have any bones. They're impossible to dissect, but I'd venture to guess they're basically just a cube of gas. No, the bones here are an anomaly. They are from random extinct animals, not Ghasts, I think at least. But they are organic. And I think what happens here is that when a Ghast is trying to reproduce and the Ghast here lands on a structure of bone, it creates an entirely new species, one that simply can't survive here. That's right, I am proposing that the Happy Ghast is in fact an offshoot of the Ghast, a newly mutated species that is doomed to die every time it's born, unless a player is able to rescue them. I think the regenerative properties of the Ghast here, which also contain the Ghast genome, in combination with regular organic material create a regular animal, which is not naturally adapted to the nether. Animals need water to survive, so these Ghastlings dry out immediately. Although they don't die, as again, they are very resilient to persistent damage and pain. Same reason lava doesn't kill a Ghast, but sudden fire charges filled with shrapnel do. If they are covered in water, and given some time to adapt, they can turn into a proper overworld animal, in a way returning to their place of origin. This is also, I believe, substantiated by the fact that Ghastlings have very pronounced gills, as they need to be submerged in water for some time to wake up from their stasis, during which they still need to obtain oxygen. These gills regress in their adult form, as they are not needed once outside the water. Snowballs are also eaten by the Ghastlings to obtain moisture faster. Their internal temperature is still really hot, as their bodies are still those of a nether native animal, and as such, until they cool down, their growth is inhibited. But snowballs provide both liquid and a way to lower their internal temperature, letting them mature faster. So, to sum all this up, the theory I'm proposing is that Ghasts are a species halfway between animal and spirit, and the Happy Ghast are a failed reproductive attempt, a kind of mutation, that, when rescued by humans, results in a proper animal species able to inhabit the overworld. I guess you could say the Uneasy Alliance has finally been made calmed. God damn it, I ruined the whole ending wrap-up thingy. Thank you for watching. I want to state very clearly at the end here that this whole thing is really just speculation. Many theories puzzled together from notes I took and thoughts I had while cleaning. Minecraft lore is very non-committal and often contradictory, so really any explanation you come up with can be substantiated with the right speculative yapping. So don't let my video be the reason for you to think that your theory may be incorrect or that theories you read online may be incorrect. It's all just us having a little fun about a game made of blocks and cubes and squares. But still, I hope you enjoyed this little rant about a weird floating head creature. If you did, leave me a comment. I read them all and they make me very happy. And also let me know if there's any other mobs or aspects of the Minecraft world you'd like to see discussed. Also mop your floors, they're dirty and gross. Okay, bye!